AI industry, as you know, it's wild. You cannot set up a company in a day. You cannot set up your bank account in a day. There's no permission. There's no terms and conditions you need to sign.
There's a bunch of AI companies raising crazy capital.
There's no middleman. There's no company. There's no government controlling it.
I don't need to know anything about cloud compute, cloud hosting, about Python, about any of that.
It's going to be quite difficult for us to come up with, let's say, safety boxes or kill switch.
Yeah.
People make mistakes, and the rest of the world had no clue. These corporations, not just AI corporations, they are the biggest data custodians in the world, and we're supposed to trust them. The AI industry kind of political. We don't want Chinese innovation. Then all of a sudden, everybody questioning why US spending that much money. That's a big difference. 500 million, and then 2 to 3 million highly specialized people around in the world.
How did you arrive here?
Painful journey. Why Bitcoin is absolutely valuable for a society.
Like, what is your drive behind this apart from decentralization and giving access to a lot of people?
No KYC, it's permissionless.
You can launch your own AI company in 5 minutes. What does it even mean? Hi, Ashton.
Hey.
So Calamity here with Ashton, talking today about all things permissionless AI, technology, blockchain, emerging tech, and how it all can impact the companies and people operate. Right. So, Ashton, you said one thing that stuck in my mind for quite a bit, right, recently. You said you can launch your own AI company in 5 minutes. What does it even mean? There's a bunch of AI companies raising crazy capital, spending a lot of time to set it up, to hire and poach a bunch of people. How do you see this? What does it mean?
Cool. First of all, thank you for having me. AI industry, as you know, it's wild. It's kind of like going through S curve, in my opinion. So one of the key challenges that I find as an entrepreneur or a developer, how do you go from 0 to 1? Mm-hmm. When we speak to real developers from different regions, I see different pain points. So launching your AI company require a lot of infrastructure, require a lot of setup. You need to do a lot of background support. So for example, so we're based out of Australia. So in Australia, we have a Sydney Startup Hub, which is one of the biggest startup community. In that building, level 5 and level 6 is purely a lot of AI companies. So when you speak to AI companies who starting from zero, so there's a very interesting use case where students starting like an AI company, mm-hmm. and their journey. Their AI model is kind of a chatbot specialized in university students. So their business model is someone can ask about university, Australian university, when is the exams and all the university related questions. Yeah.
Useful.
So, and their business model is to, you can have 100 questions for free, and everything else you have to pay like $10 per month. So if you look at their journey, so it's like a chatbot, it's like a SaaS product, right? And since you have to collect payments from the end users, you have to integrate like credit cards payment systems. And in order to collect payments, you have to have a bank account. In order to have a bank account, you have to have a company. So regardless of your technology, there's so many things you have to do. So going from 0 to 1, it's not instant, right? So it cannot be done within a day. You cannot set up a company in a day. You cannot set up your bank account in a day. You cannot integrate SaaS technologies or credit card payment systems in one day. So that was like a big pain point, right? So in Australian case, they were spending around $20,000 to set up the company, bank account, all of that stuff. And if you go beyond Western countries, most people like around, more than 2 billion people, they don't have bank accounts.
Yeah.
So how do you launch your AI company? So that's one of the big pain point I've seen. So if you have an idea how you go from 0 to 1.
Okay, so it feels like in order to set up an AI company, it's almost not from 0 to 1, but already there are 5 steps.
Correct.
That you need to do just to get to the borderline.
Correct.
Okay, and can you tell me more about OpenxAI, about the tech behind, how does it enable people to actually get there in 5 minutes.
Sure.
Five minutes is good time.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
So we focus on a few things. So first, we want anyone to be able to access the platform. So OpenxAI is kind of a decentralized version of Hugging Face. So it's a permissionless and trustless. So think like you're accessing a distributed ledger technology, right? Like Bitcoin.
Right.
So you connect your wallet and access. There's no permission, there's no terms and conditions you need to sign. You don't have to pretty much do anything. So regardless of your location, you can access the service.
And for some people that don't know what Hugging Face is,
Right.
what is it?
So it's the largest the AI ecosystem, open source AI ecosystem in the world. So they have the largest. It's kind of like a directory for AI models. So you can go to Hugging Face, you can find all the foundational models. You can host, you can launch your AI services in that Hugging Face ecosystem. There's a lot of community around it. Unfortunately, it's centralized. Right. So, and a lot of infrastructure, like AI infrastructure, like compute, is provided by Hugging Face itself. So you kind of like locked in that
closed ecosystem.
Right? Unfortunately, if you are coming from a different regions, like let's say sanctions region, you won't be able to access the service, right? So because you have to agree on terms and condition. OpenxAI, on the other hand, it's a completely Web3 format, which means anyone can access regardless of where you are, as long as infrastructure has enough nodes in the region. Similar how you interact with Bitcoin network, you connect your wallet and you can just send your Bitcoin from one person to another. There's no middleman, there's no company, there's no government controlling it. So OpenxAI protocol, it's the same kind of principle. You can access your most popular AI models. And if you want to host your AI models, you can choose the decentralized infrastructure, which means you control. And you can basically launch your AI service or AI agents directly within that infrastructure, which you control and you own.
Okay, so technically, what does it mean? I don't need to know anything about cloud compute, cloud hosting, about Python, about any of that, and I can still launch it. Or what is my interaction with OpenxAI platform?
Yeah, we've seen like a big movement. If you look at developers, how developers, like the mindset has evolved, developers became lazy, right? Not all developers.
Tools are getting better.
People
are getting lazy.
Correct. Developers want like, okay, I need something, quick and dirty.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend like 1 month setting things up to see results.
Fair enough.
So we see emergence in no-code, low-code tooling. So we have Studio, which is OpenxAI Studio. Even a non-coder can deploy. So we have two personas. If you're not a coder, if you want to deploy something quickly, it's just like simply like signing up with your Gmail. It's very simple process. It's 3 clicks. You can pick the model, pick your infrastructure, and deploy it. It's like 3 clicks. For developers who want to have a little bit more control, so we have a V5 version 5 of the OpenxAI Studio, which you can bring your own modeling and tooling, and you can basically use our infrastructure for hosting, and also you can use it for our tokenization smart contracts that we have in the flat platform to substitute having a bank account, having a company, and etc.
Yeah. So I can clearly see how this would bring more adoption to AI.
100%,
right?
yeah.
But what is your take? What is your drive behind this apart from decentralization and giving access to a lot of people, which is like very philosophical and conceptual thing that I share and those beliefs that I share. But on from the business perspective and the industry as such, do you see this enabling builders from India, from Asia, from other regions to tap into this bubble that is currently heavily represented just in California and San Fran and all?
So AI to me, it's one of the most, I would say, innovative thing that
Agree.
people have ever created,
Yeah.
right? And that's the scary part as well, right? So if you think about AI being a tool, it can also, compared to any other tools that we invented in the past, we can somehow control it, right? So AI to me, it's more like is another level, right? So if intelligence go beyond our comprehension, right, it's going to be quite difficult for us to come up with, let's say, safety boxes or kill switch.
Yeah.
So I think we are at a point where the industry is progressing, in that level, which means we don't know what we don't know. So I think it's important, rather than keeping the knowledge and the tooling and capabilities into a few hands of corporations or people. This is what's happening right now. Instead of centralizing all these secrets, just distribute it, right? I see like a similarity how internet protocol used to be a military protocol, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Used in military to communicate. And I'm sure a lot of scientists debate, should we open up to public, right? And look where we are now. Now everybody's connected and we have significant benefits out of it. Of course, there are bad side with the internet, how the world just became a small village. But I think the fundamentally the big problem, like we are, as human, we are terrible at like risk management, right? So we've seen over and over again, all the way from ancient time, the greed and power and corruption always happen. Like it's a human nature. So giving like the god-like power to like a small group of people and hoping they'll do the right thing, closed behind, closed doors, like corporate protections and not having much regulatory oversight, that's a problematic, right? So, because this is where I think the big beautiful bill from Trump, they want in the bill state for the next 10 years, state level regulatory oversight, they're going to remove that. They're going to push for more federal level.
Yeah.
Federal level is very, very slow, which means the corporations now have freedom to go even further. Corporations like Microsoft, OpenAI, Google, Meta, they have a lot more freedom to push their agendas into the next level. The challenge with those agendas is not about bringing the best technology, right? Sometimes it's all about what they can showcase to the world, and they can somehow benefit their stock price or their position, right? Because ultimately it's a survival for them. So who's bigger, the biggest bully or the best provider, right? So those corporations are now in a race who's to prove who's bigger and better. So that also adding additional layer of a risk, right? People make mistakes. So my idea is, obviously not just my idea, a lot of people working on the open source community and decentralized space, instead of keeping into a small group of people, try to distribute that knowledge, right?
Yeah, agree.
Because the recent example that we had is 2008 financial crash, right? In that example, so derivative market didn't really regulate it or didn't have a proper oversight. CFTC and SEC didn't really oversight. So a lot of lobbyists, they basically pushed not to have any control of derivatives. And all the big institutional banks and large hedge funds, they benefit. So it's a small group of people that manage the whole thing, right? And the rest of the world had no clue for years, like what they were doing behind closed doors. And everybody had a trust. The government had a trust on those guys, big boys, do the right thing on a financial market. Look what happened. Now, the challenge, it was just a bunch of derivatives, MBS, mortgage-backed securities, and etc. What was the impact? Global level financial crisis. People suffered, a lot of people died. But now we're repeating the same thing. I see the exact same repeat
Patterns, right?
patterns like 2005 when
Power and influence and accumulation,
Yeah.
and now it's just getting tapped into the most powerful technology that we ever came up with.
financial market, financial instruments, it was just financial
Yeah.
markets only. But we are giving the same power now, same thing we did in 2005, given to financial industry. We're doing the same thing now to the largest corporations in the AI space, right? Now the challenge, these corporations, not just AI corporations, they are the biggest data custodians in the world. Google, Meta, Microsoft, they hold the most valuable data. They are the data, I would say, the vacuum.
Yeah.
They collect data from you, they collect data from everywhere. So they have the largest knowledge of the world, right?
Yeah.
So they are the biggest AI companies. They also happen to have the largest, the custodian of the data. You and I, we have access to, let's say, 5% of the data that they have. They have a deep, they call it, we call it deep web, right? Deep web is the databases that they have, raw data. And then the third thing, they also happen to have the biggest data centers. The data centers is kind of the brain.
Yeah.
The data itself is the knowledge, and AI is the keratin or the ticking bomb, right?
Yeah.
So all of these three things control under 4 or 5 companies, and we're supposed to trust them.
Yeah, yeah. I see also another pattern how it repeats itself. Back 5 years back or so, there was the Rise of AI book that was stating that China, for example, right, it gets a little bit political, right, with emerging tech. So China will outcompete the US on AI front simply because the amount of data that is collected. And if the state is willing to share that data for the sake of the advantage of training the models more efficiently, it's a strong argument. More data you have, better your models could be, right? And that's where probably DeepSeek also reemerged, the different reasons. But now we see even DeepSeek taking markets by storm a few months back, and now DeepSeek is probably not available in all of the countries.
Yeah.
Although it's a good tech.
It is. So to me, the AI industry kind of political, right?
Yeah.
That move that US, Canada, it's not Canada, US, Australia, Thailand, Italy, and a few other countries, they literally banned DeepSeek, right, in the month of January this year. So why they did that? Of course, they were saying, they're collecting data. Your data basically goes to China. There's a legit argument, but the media, the way media presented, that's basically, we don't want Chinese innovation, right?
Yeah.
It's also threatening underlying investments that Trump and everybody else putting forward, right? So they were spending $500 billion on AI infrastructure. NVIDIA is a couple of $1 trillion of investments.
Yeah.
And when you say here, DeepSeek can do 10 times better, 20 times better, and 80% cheaper for training and in investments that OpenAI doing, OpenAI does, then all of a sudden everybody questioning why US spending that much money, right? Because I think DeepSeek, they focused more on the software optimization, right? So they didn't have much resources. So they didn't have all these talent and resources and money. So they just optimized on that particular vertical.
Yeah. Do you remember the figures? I reckon seeing the comparison of how much it costed for DeepSeek to train the model and build the entire team. And it was something in the range of $5 million or something.
Yeah, small team. So they're training, I think recent training, you can actually optimize. Like if you host DeepSeek on OpenxAI, because we provide even 80% cheaper in terms of GPU and compute costs. So if you run DeepSeek, which is already optimized foundational model
Yeah.
on OpenxAI, you can even bring the cost down significantly,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's another issue, right? Because if you look at the AI industry, right? So let's put it into three buckets. One is, let's say, consumers are using AI services, right? So typically AI SaaS products, ChatGPT, Grok, and most of SaaS products, you have to spend between $800 to all the way up to $70,000 per year to access those services. And I mean, who could afford? Like, imagine if you're in Africa or some certain parts of in Asia. Do you think they can afford like $1,000 per year? They cannot, right?
No way.
So it's also like segregating consumers. That's number one. Number two, let's think about like compute, GPU, access to training, access to these tooling. So if you're a kid in Kenya who wants to build a very competitive AI service, you need like training and investment for AI infrastructure, $5,000 to $10,000. Imagine that level of investment for that region is very difficult. So I see a massive separation, access to AI services and being able to run or start AI company. So I think that's a big gap. So I see, I think around in certain regions, we have like a big gaps to be able to access these services. And on the other hand, AI is evolving really, really rapidly, right? So some tooling can be quite complicated, right? So if you want numbers, we have like less than 3 to 4 million really focused like AI engineers in the world, like really, really domain specific.
Yeah.
And then global audience for, let's say, the developers across other factors, it is between 50 to 70 million, right? So they are developers from different disciplines. If you go to business owners who wants to participate in the AI narrative and they want to integrate AI services into their business, or entrepreneur wants to kind of learn AI and want to build things with AI technologies, that's about 500 to 600 million, right? So that's a big difference. 500 million,
Yeah.
and then 2 to 3 million highly specialized people around in the world.
Yeah.
I think this knowledge gap and accessibility, I see also a big challenge. So our idea is to bring those, like the 500 million to 600 million users who wants to start their AI services very quickly and not committing too much, they will be able to do that.
Can you share a little bit more about your journey? Like, how did you arrive here, right? You're having understanding of the markets, of financial markets, of the developers, experiences and journeys and tech as such, right? How did you arrive here? Telling us about OpenxAI, because it feels and looks like a very thought through product and a solution that is really tapping into the needs of the industry, and that is perhaps for some people that are not as knowledgeable, could be not as obvious, but for anyone who's been around Web3 and understand the ethos, for anyone who understands the value of open source, that is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
How did you arrive here?
It's a long journey, painful journey.
I bet, yeah.
Painful journey. I mean, how far I can go. If you ask me about Web3 journey, that's 2015.
Well, that's early.
Yeah. I think, look, I always wanted to, my background, I was tinkering with things like building electronics, electronic projects since childhood. I really love technology, right? So I admire people like Michio Kaku, Peter Diamandis, those kind of people, more futurists, right?
Yeah.
So to me, always like building things, it's always I enjoy the process. Sometimes it's not about the business. It's all about like inventing things and then going through that journey to explore and understand. So when I came across first Bitcoin, I knew Bitcoin before 2015. In fact, I've used Bitcoin. I had a business where I sold my e-commerce company. I had an e-commerce company before, and then
I didn't know that.
Say again?
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So I had an e-commerce company. I started in Dubai, the e-commerce company, with this way before Souk.com. And I was doing like more domain, selling domains, especially .ai domains. Early days, like 2012, we had to use Bitcoin because the platform, similar like a cedo.co.uk, didn't have a more payment gateway, so you have to use Bitcoin. Right. So I used Bitcoin. I didn't have the knowledge of the distributed ledger technology principles, like why Bitcoin is absolutely valuable for a society. I didn't understand the concepts of permissionless properties. I didn't understand at that time. It's a network where it's a trustless protocol. So when I came across Ethereum 2015, it was amazing, right? Because it's a distributed supercomputer, right? Yeah. So anyone can write code into it, and then this ecosystem, like living and breathing ecosystem, and no one can shut down, and no government can stop. It's like a living and breathing ecosystem without a middleman. So I like that, the narrative and the thesis. And I went dive deep into Ethereum first. And Sydney at that time, in Australia, there were a lot of Ethereum early people. So I got in touch with early people. And I used to run Bitcoin and Ethereum meetups. There was a small town called Wollongong. I used to run Bitcoin and Ethereum meetups. And 2 people turn up, right? They were just hanging around. What is Bitcoin? What is Ethereum? It's 2015, right?
Yeah, early days.
Yeah. And 2016, things started picking up. And then I started a company called Blockchain Partners. It's kind of like a Moody's for distributed ledger technologies. We did a lot of reports. For me, I want to understand the industry, right?
Okay.
So after Ethereum, there was a bunch of white papers came, and they're talking about we're going to take over Ethereum, we're going to take over Bitcoin. This is a better Bitcoin, better Ethereum. And what we did, we just basically took the information from the project. Okay. This is like early days of ICO boom, and we looked at the motivation behind the project, understand tokenomics, understand the team, and we just created reports. We published those reports. We shared the reports among some of our communities, and then we started building a technology where it's kind of pulling data from multiple sources, on-chain data, Ethereum data. And then there were a couple of exchanges back in the days like Poloniex, Bitfinex. Those were early exchanges. We built APIs to pull data, so understand on-chain order books and etc. And then we collected a lot of data from Twitter, especially sentiment data, just to understand.
Wow, collecting sentiment data from Twitter back in 2015. That's really
2016.
16. That's still pretty early. Right?
Yeah. So we had an opportunity to access Twitter Firehose, which basically give you like everything, and we ran through IBM Tone Analyzer to understand the sentiment, right? And what we didn't know at that time, crypto culture has specific words and they express information in a different way. Yeah. They put let's say a meme to express their feelings. Yeah. But IBM Tone Analyzer is specifically for text-based, right? The training model is all about traditional conversation. Yeah. So we built some tech, and then And one of the project that we came across is Phantom. I call it Sonic. Yeah, it was L1 chain before Solana. So it happened to be the early team of Phantom also happened to be in Sydney. So I got in. We got in touch with mutual connections. I joined Phantom. Early conversation was 2017, and officially joined in 2018, early 2018. So that was my first experience working with the L1 infrastructure project. Worked with Phantom or Sonic for almost 2 years. So that was a really good experience understanding, building how to build a technology. And one of the key element or key aspect that I realized, so this is where I think my journey started properly, building tools and technologies for Web3. Started right after Phantom. One thing that struck to me when during Phantom time, a lot of our engineers build their infrastructure, like node operations on AWS, right? So now when you build your infrastructure in AWS, you have to pay in fiat currency. Yeah. You have to do KYC, you have to have a credit card. So we have to do all sorts of stuff. And also regional. You have to sign up in Australia, AWS Australian region, and etc. Now, if you're running a, let's say, Phantom node in Australia, AWS, let's say you're paying $300 per month, Australian dollars. And in order for you to become at least viable as a node operator, you need to be receiving enough tokens from Phantom network as a node operator. Yeah. So in order for you to be economically viable as a node operator, you need to at least break even. So if you have a significant cost like $200 or $300, if you don't get enough, then usually what happens when the token price drops, people leave the network. Then that's the challenge. Then all of a sudden network become more centralized because it's not independent node operators are maintaining the ledger of the network or providing compute for the network. Then I was realizing, well, if this is a big problem across most of blockchain space, because a independent node operator is the one is going to provide the decentralization. Yeah. Right. It's going to keep a copy of the network, the ledger, and some networks have provide compute and etc. So if you don't address this node operator's viability problem, then we don't have decentralized networks. Networks finality will be less, and also the networks cannot operate efficiently, right? Because it doesn't have enough nodes. Yeah. So then I started looking into building kind of a network, like
I knew
AWS.
You were gonna say that. I saw the problem. I started building something for it.
Yes. So, and I was looking at IPFS protocol, like a Filecoin. Yeah. It's great to host an image, like a static file. I thought, what if you can run like a workload, right? Like a compute. Because if you look at like typical torrent networks, torrent networks allow you to, share files, like share movies and etc. peer-to-peer. What if you take the same kind of architecture or principle to do compute instead? Instead of sharing movies, you can do compute workloads. So this is where after Phantom, I started working on a small project. It was kind of like a project that I wanted to experiment, and then used to call it L3A protocol, and then rebranded it to OpenMesh. So in late 2020, we started OpenMesh. So OpenMesh is a decentralized cloud, similar like AWS, but it's a Web3 native, which means
there's no centralized services, servers,
VMs, virtual machines, databases, node as a service, all sorts of things can be obtained.
And no KYCs.
No KYC. Very important. No KYC. It's permissionless. We have something called OpenMesh Studio. You connect your wallet, and we have lots of apps. and then you pay in crypto.
Beautiful.
It's no credit cards.
Yeah.
And it's the cool thing is permissionless. So when you deploy a server, it's connected to your wallet, which means you are the only one actually control the wallet. Your wallet is your logging. It's not your email. So your wallet is your security. Your Ethereum wallet is the security. So if someone wants to access your server, your infrastructure, either they have to know your private key or hack Ethereum network. So that's how we built OpenMesh. And then after OpenMesh, so we built bootstrap OpenMesh project for a very long time. That was the painful journey. Yeah, because no VCs. We never even established a foundation.
Was it intentional to bootstrap it?
Yeah. Because the challenge with having a VC backed like foundation or whatever, it basically completely push your value proposition out of the building, right? If you're saying you're a decentralized protocol, you have to be a decentralized protocol.
But then you have centralized money.
Exactly.
It controls you.
Yeah, if you have a centralized entity like a foundation, that's one of a choke point, right? So I wanted to build everything open source, keep everything decentralized, and have a DAO to manage the protocol. So those are the principles that we used. But to me, the cool thing is being able to, find a cheap server.
Yeah.
Or let's say you can provide compute, like peer-to-peer. Let's say I found you and I think you're reliable. You can see all the information. And I wanted to rent you for 2 hours or 3 months. And I can do that. And you and I, we can do peer-to-peer agreement using smart contracts. And I can pay you in crypto, right? So that's the whole idea. And of course, there were a couple of projects tried that before, peer-to-peer compute, like Golem.
Yeah.
And I think the challenge for those type of technologies, they went peer-to-peer from the day one, which means you might have a really unreliable internet connection. You may not be a person be able to provide a reliable compute.
Yeah.
So therefore, the actual
is
practicality would be very, very low. Yeah. So with OpenMesh, we started with the data centers. So we tap into a large network of data centers, like Equinix, High Velocity, those large data centers. So these data centers kind of a hotel business. Yeah. So they have lots of rooms, like hotels, and they sell based on the season, right? If there's a high demand, they increase the price. If it's a low demand, they just reduce the price. So what we did, first of all, we partnership with all the large data centers, and then we built APIs. So we can ping these data centers and say, hey, what's your supply now? And the cool thing is these data centers, if the supply is significant from their side, they're willing to drop the price for like 80%. Yeah. And what we do, we scan these data centers' unused servers, and then we bring that to the users. So if you go to our platform and you say you want to host, let's say, AI application, or if you want to run a node, and when you ping, find me the cheapest server, it's going to search real time, and you're going to find you the best, cheapest server. So often it's up to 80% cheaper.
Right.
And then you just click provision, and then it will provision for you and connect to your wallet and wrap in a smart contract, and it's give that to you in the console.
It's like a Skyscanner for compute.
Exactly, Skyscanner for GPUs and compute.
Beautiful. And then that's decentralized compute, coming from the strong background and believes in Web3 philosophy. Then how and when did it click for you to go and to apply those permissionless principles and move to AI? Yeah,
cool. So now we built the infrastructure, right? For there's a decentralized compute, that including GPUs and compute and storage.
Yeah.
So end of 2024, we were looking for like a a good go-to market, right? So where we can put the most efforts into it. So imagine open mesh like IPFS protocol. We want to have a killer application or a protocol on top of open mesh, and that's the time DeepSeek, the big news happened. So DeepSeek launched, and obviously it was launched way before 2024, but it became popular in 2025 January, right? I don't know if you remember, Nvidia stock collapsed,
I remember
right,
that
because
very
of this
well.
news. And right after, I think a couple of days later, DeepSeek kind of banned in certain regions.
Yeah, that's fairly
And-
fast.
Correct. And all of a sudden, we started receiving a lot of requests, right? Because people in Australia, US, Taiwan, Italy, if they go to AWS, and if you happen to be in those regions, you might get a warning sign say, "Hey, your account might get blocked," or here's a
Oh, that's
regulatory
nice of them.
guidelines.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those people, because imagine if you're in Australia and you found out there's a very efficient AI model just released, and you are really curious, and you want to start experimenting it, right? And you want to have access to that, and all of a sudden, government say no. So those people looking for alternative, right?
Yeah.
And those individuals start reaching out to us, right? I've got tons of messages on LinkedIn. Hey, I'm in Australia, I wanted to have another hosting provider. Can I host DeepSeek on Open Mesh? And that was the aha moment, right? That is our go-to market, plus that's the user needs and pain point. And then we started investigating more and more into the pain points in the AI space. And that's where OpenxAI came to the picture. So then we built a protocol, and then we simplified it. We took a lot of infrastructure tools that we built for Open Mesh, especially like OpenxAI, so Open Mesh Studio. It's like a web-based console. We took that and then we prioritized for AI ecosystem. It's kind of similar like a Hugging Face experience. You have a bunch of AI foundational models, everything hosted on decentralized infrastructure.
Right.
So which means it's kind of stored in a permanent kind of a web. So if there are good open source models that, let's say, taken down by Hugging Face, you can access on OpenxAI.
Beautiful.
Theoretically, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hosted on like IPFS type of infrastructure. And then when you want to host your AI models, instead of choosing traditional cloud, you host on decentralized infrastructure. And you pay like 80% less. Yeah. And cool thing here, when you host your AI models on an infrastructure that you control, all of a sudden, anything that you ingest inside the model and the infrastructure, privacy, now you have the 100% privacy, because within the infrastructure that you control is attached to your wallet.
Yeah.
Anything goes inside, you control. So the challenge we find, if you are, let's say, chatting with ChatGPT and it become your buddy, right? You might train it, it listen to you, it adapt to you. But if you want to move the platform to another platform, the metadata that collected or create the map of who you are, all of that stuck with OpenAI,
Yeah.
which means you're stuck with them. But if you do it in this way, all of the data is basically within your infrastructure that you control. Because I see like AI privacy being a really, really big factor.
So can they feed? Can I feed then my data that I trained with one model and feed it into another model on OpenxAI?
No, we don't have that capabilities today.
Okay.
But what you can do, you can retain the information.
Yeah.
If you're a developer, you might be able to go to the raw data.
Yeah.
You can extract the schema. You can maybe, extract the database. Then you might be able to bring into another AI model to actually ingest that historical records, but we don't have that capability today.
Okay, but I still see the value because ChatGPT, right? It gets better and better at addressing your requests as you use it more often.
Yeah.
But then it gets to the point, and that's what you want ultimately, right? AI to read your mind, but it comes with a price. That
Of course.
at some point it reads it so well that back a few months back, people were prompting something along the lines of draw a portrait of me, and it would give scary details that people did not even realize that ChatGPT knows about them.
Yeah.
So that's when it clicks that maybe you should consider privacy, right?
Yeah, this is the same model in Silicon Valley model, right?
Yeah.
So you basically, take over. It's like you own the user.
Yeah.
Right? If you look at Facebook, Instagram, that is your digital memory, and you cannot leave the platform.
Yeah.
You become like, it's like you've got arms, and then you have a digital, you've got a digital extension yourself, right?
Uh-huh.
Now with OpenAI, the same thing. You've got a digital extension of your high intelligence of you, and you don't want to leave because it's stuck there, because it's a closed source, right? And they control your data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any time of the day, if I get the same experience using centralized entity and infra versus centralized, I would go for the centralized one. If my experience is the same, but then I know that my data is not being fed to the Californian muggles, I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
But can you tell me something about how the ecosystem of apps, or what can I currently deploy on OpenxAI?
Yeah. So currently we cover like most popular foundational models, LLMs, text to speech. So we have the version 4 right now, OpenxAI Studio. It's a web-based console. You can go similar like Hugging Face. You can see a directory, and you can click. You can see the versions, and then choose the infrastructure and deploy. So currently we cover like the most popular the models. Hugging Face has over 1.6 or 1.7 million. We have around 50 at the moment. Right? It's a start.
Yeah.
And of course, Hugging Face has a lot of duplicates. That's why they have a large number. And we're hoping when we open this up to community, they can launch their own models and train model. They can use a foundational model, and they can ingest with their own data. For example, take DeepSeek foundational model, ingest with crypto data. It become a crypto LLM.
Yeah.
You can put it into the marketplace.
Yeah.
So then we can increase the apps.
Okay. Apps, marketplace, people plugging in as they want. It sounds a little bit like plugins and templates that you use on Shopify or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Would that be a fair comparison?
Sure.
Okay.
You can say that. The other, I also want to mention like a big pain point that we saw with Hugging Face ecosystem. I started reaching out to a couple of ambassadors representing Hugging Face.
Yeah.
One of big issue. Let's say I took one of a foundational model.
Yeah.
And I ingest certain data points into it, and I start fine tuning the model. All of a sudden, that's become valuable, like a commodity.
Yeah.
Right. So DeepSeek with crypto data, crypto LLM.
Yeah.
Now, I, as a creator, or let's say I did this, now I want to monetize it.
Yeah.
I want to maybe rent that to you, or maybe I want to sell the whole thing to you, or I want to build a little SaaS product, and I want to be able to collect like payments. Like I want to build a mini ChatGPT for myself.
If it solves a problem for me, or maybe it's going to solve a problem for 100 people.
Correct.
Let's turn it into a business.
Correct. The problem in Web 2 world, it's very difficult to do that, right? So if I, how do you sell your AI model on a marketplace? So if you go to forums, they can say, hey guys, I've got a trained model with DeepSeek with these parameters. if anyone wants it, I'm willing to sell it for $2,000. Hit me up. And then you have to contact that person, somehow try to figure it out, send your PayPal ID,
Yeah.
It's old school.
Yeah. Not even going into technical details of transferring the ownership and everything.
Crazy.
Right.
So what we use, we basically utilize smart contracts and tokenization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So imagine you have your AI infrastructure. Imagine you if you can wrap in a ERC standard like 721
Yeah.
or 1155, you can wrap it, which means all of a sudden your infrastructure tokenized and your data is tokenized.
Yeah.
And you can sell it, you can rent it, and
That's
etc.
That's beautiful. I'm excited just hearing that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of tokenization trends going on, right? And people try to tokenize real estate or ownership over a bunch of things, but this is actual application of tokenization that I like.
Yeah. The most sexiest one is like what I'm really excited about, replacing a bank account and a company and a SaaS.
Ooh.
All that tool can be used in a smart contract.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we are working on that. It's a ERC standard, ERC 46667.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong with that last digit, 4663 or 4667. Imagine you as a user, you want to launch your AI company.
Yeah.
You pick the model, you pick the infrastructure, wrap the infrastructure and connect to your wallet. And then with this ERC 4667 model or the wrapper, it will allow you to set up a bank account, which is a wallet, multiple wallets if you want to. And instead of having a company to protect your IP, you can put in a smart contract to connect the data. The data itself, like the model, is your IP, right? And you protect that. So your data, your infrastructure is connected to a smart contract, and then you make it open or private, turn it on and off, which means no one can see.
Yeah.
And the last aspect is a subscription model where you can use smart contracts to provide subscription capabilities. So let's say I want to open up the subscription to the world, which means if you are a consumer of my app, you can access my service and you have to pay in $5 USDT and your wallet is connected. And let's say subscription period is 3 months or 6 months for $5. You can actually access my service. And at the end of the service, the smart contract basically knows your subscription is over, you will be kicked out, right? It's kind of like same SaaS product with the email and credit card. You can use the smart contracts to do that.
Yeah, with your wallet, with your financing and scheduling of the payments.
Correct.
All of that.
All the pain points that I've earlier discussed, going from 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Instead of having a company, instead of having your bank accounts, all of that.
Yeah.
Use
You can
smart
solve
contracts.
with tech.
Yeah. If you use a network like Base, how much gas fee you have to pay for all the smart contracts? Probably less than $1.
Yeah.
So instead of spending, sure. Instead of spending,
Wow.
spending $1,000 on lawyers, setting up a company, it costs you, I don't know, in Australia probably $500.
Yeah.
And setting up a bank account, paying for the banks to fees. Remember, you have to pay fees.
Yeah.
Use smart contracts and execute the smart contract. You have to pay gas. That's it. So if you choose a cheap chain like BNB, Base, you'll be paying less than $1. If you use Ethereum, maybe around $10.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy. It's not even a ratio of 1 to 100, 1 to 10. It's 1 to thousands that you get here.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So while I can appreciate the potential of it, the elegance of tech solution, tell me, what are people using OpenxAI and OpenMesh infra today to build?
Yeah.
You had something really exciting going on around token 2499 in Dubai.
Yeah.
anything you can share with us about that application or something else?
Token 49, we had a very interesting event. Instead of having human panel, like typically go to Token 49, a bunch of events, people sit down and talk about the industry.
Same thing.
Same thing. And what we had, instead of like this chair, instead of me speaking,
Yeah.
we had a screen,
Yeah.
and that's the agent. So we have four chairs, and then 4 screens represent different personality. Donald Trump, yeah. we trained speaking like a Donald Trump with the same accent, same personality, and we did a live demo, debating each other. And then infrastructure we hosted on OpenMesh, so we showcased that it works. So we wanted to showcase like something fun.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool event where around 100 people attended, and Trump is debating about Bitcoin with like Peter Schiff. We even had Mysterious Satoshi. We scrapped all the data from early Bitcoin forum.
Yeah.
We just created a personality, and like Peter Schiff, Michael Saylor, Donald Trump, they're basically debating.
Right.
Yeah.
Between themselves.
Between themselves, right? So they, the technology was like obviously it's a text to speech, speech is text, and it is real time prompting. It's showcasing the tech is not always boring, Do something fun.
I can see a lot of value in this, although there is, you say, 100 people there. I see how thousands of people could appreciate it, because someone who is going to conferences, crypto conferences all the time, you see the same people talking about more or less the same thing, and then it's getting repetitive, right? So I was in a recent year or so, I was looking for for something new. Like, give me the format that is meaningful, that showcases the tech, not showcases the egos and titles and of the people, but why are we here, right? Not just to get to understand what other people are building, and then how it's not theoretical but practical. Yeah. So what you've done with that, I give you the kudos. That's the crazy shit. Yeah.
There's a lot of work. Yeah.
I bet.
Sleepless nights.
I haven't seen anyone doing that.
Yeah.
Not before, not after, by the way.
Yeah.
It's been almost what, 3-4 months after. I haven't seen anyone doing that.
Yeah.
So that highlights that even in theory, if it's possible anywhere else, there's no other solution on the market that does this, has a similar value prop of permissionless AI as OpenxAI, right?
I think so. There are a bunch of decentralized, because if you define, like I like to separate or segregate into 4 buckets, right? Closed source AI or proprietary AI, which is 98% every AI thing.
Is it benefits corporates?
Yeah, so it's a private. So you have to have a permission. You need their permission to access.
Yeah.
Right? Everything proprietary.
Yeah.
And then we have open source AI, DeepSeek, right? So you take the model, you can do whatever you want with it. And then you have a decentralized AI, right? So that's a bit convoluted.
Yeah.
A lot of people say decentralized AI, but use centralized a lot of services. But as a philosophy, decentralized AI to me, you've got some level of open source technologies, but instead of governed by a corporate, a company or a small group of people, it's governed by a community. And then you have a bit of a, capabilities for community to influence over the roadmap of that technology. Yeah. So that's how I define decentralized AI. And then permissionless AI is the next evolution. So permissionless AI, it's kind of a Bitcoin network. So anyone can access, even if you're in Iran or North Korea. Yeah. You should be able to host it. No one can shut down. And there's a minimal amount of centralized components. So the probability that you will have a geopolitical, some sort of a problem or resistance are extremely low, right? So you should be able to launch your AI services, AI agents, from your laptop, from your bedroom, and no one can shut down. no one can control, right? So to me, it's more like freedom and fairness.
I like your approach on this because, and now I understand why you call it permissionless AI and not decentralized AI, because there's been bunch and just flood of projects on the market right now that merge or marry crypto and AI and call it decentralized AI, while in reality there's the only decentralized part is a token.
Yep, token and a community. Yeah,
And that's about it, right? While in your case, I like this angle of, okay, we're going to provide this infrastructure that allows true decentralization from top to bottom, but also you have these mechanisms that are lacking, that are the best parts of this closed source AIs, which is monetization, right? And that's one of the reasons why they're proprietary, because they want to make money out of it, right? So now you have the best out of two worlds, right? You have decentralization where no one can shut it down. You have the ownership of your data, but also on top of it, you as a creator or as a creator of that model or that data set, you can monetize it, which is to me is like the best sweet spot possible for AI going forward.
Yeah, try to understand the pain points and deliver something hopefully valuable for the ecosystem.
Yeah, let's talk about the general space and where do you see the industry, AI industry as such, growing, right? And in the next 10 to 30 years.
Yeah. 10 to 30 years, wow.
Yeah, like moonshot, right? Like it's evolving pretty rapidly. So maybe let's the bottom threshold, let's reduce it to maybe 3-5 years.
That's hard, but you're sure?
Yeah. Okay. Let's start with 1 year. Where do you see the AI industry being in 1 year?
Oh, I mean, I hate predicting future, right? No one can get it right. I see some trends, right? If you apply like Gartner's hype cycle concepts and theories, we just finished a hype cycle, which 2022, 2023, and the AI industry going through S-curve, which means now our hype is over, now going through some sort of a growth, right?
Yeah.
And if we have any financial instability and geopolitical tension across the world, so imagine like, let's say some sort of like economic, slow, growth. The GDPs are slowing down, right? So if that happened, let's say 2026, end of 2026 or 2027, whatever it is, right? All of a sudden, businesses are unable to pay for people, right? So you cannot afford as a startup or a large corporation. They're looking at, okay, we have 5,000 people, we cannot pay for it. So we need to figure out like a better way to do this work.
Yeah.
So I think this is where the actual utility of AI technologies, whether it's a chatbot or automating agentic AI models, will come into to the market, and that's where the demand will come.
Yeah,
I think. So all of a sudden, across whether it's retail companies or really high tech companies or like a pizza shop, they might be looking for like a better way to optimize their infrastructure, their bottom line. So now S curve is where things going to go, which means it's a really good growth. It's no longer hype, right? It's a real use cases. And I think by 2030, like 2028 to 2020 to 2030, the AI industry will probably reach like, maybe $2 to $3 trillion. It could be even $4 trillion market, right? Which means we are going to see more advanced capabilities, especially automation. So agentic frameworks, like being able to quickly, it's like what Siri used to, like the original idea of Siri, right? You talk to Siri and say, hey, can you book a taxi for me, right? I think these things probably will go from consumers to small businesses to medium businesses to enterprises. And
So
I think
have
it's going
Jarvis models all over the place.
Yeah, automation, a lot of like, even like AI, agents going to be working together as a team to represent, let's say, marketing team or your content management team or your software team and etc. So
Like a swarm of AI agents.
correct.
Yeah.
So you've got to, instead of having your, let's say this is a table,
Yeah.
we are having an office meeting, and instead of having tables, there might be a couple of one or two supervisor agent of the team we're going to represent in the conversation and being part of the team.
Yeah.
And I see it's happening in the next 1 to 2 years.
I could imagine that.
Yeah.
Right. And then something important you mentioned about the S curve, right? And profitability, right? And just like money comparison. How do you see AI, apart from driving down the expense for businesses to execute their day-to-day operations, right? How do you see AI increasing their revenue?
I think revenue-wise, it's basically automation. Automation and removing a lot of like ambiguities in the business. And I also see like metadata and things that business normally don't pay attention to, right? And those insights might be helpful to improve the underlying business operations. Like imagine an AI agent will say, "Hey, by the way, this is your business right now, but we see an opportunity in these areas." Or it can say, "This is where area you can actually, cut costs."
Yeah.
These things can happen. But I think what I'm really excited about, if you have a bit of AI help for like a really emerging tech startups, whether you are in the energy industry, biotech, material science, space industry, robotics. Now imagine you have like a superpower or like an alien intelligent sitting next to you.
Yeah.
Can run simulations, can give you like analysis. A team would need like $1 billion resources to do it.
Yeah.
But they pay $1,000 per month.
And then it does it 24/7.
24/7.
It doesn't need siestas. It does
Correct.
not need like days off for a weekend, for Christmas and all.
One cool example, I think, is Adobe. I don't remember the year, maybe 2023 or 2022. It talked about how AI can actually help you to build design, like industrial designs. So that particular example was building an efficient car engine for a specific performance and a specific circuit of driving.
Yep.
And I remember in the keynote, they were talking about like building a drone. So you tell the AI, "Hey, I need a drone, and it should be able to carry 10 kilograms. It should go, let's say, 40 to 50 kilometers an hour, and it should be able to do X, Y, Z, and it needs to have 10 hours battery, whatever it is, the requirements."
Yeah.
And it's going to give you the 3D printing design based on your requirements, right? So the aerodynamics, the weight of the things, the materials that needed to do that. So imagine all of a sudden now, is in a few iteration, maybe 2 or 3 iteration, you can reach your business objectives, because your business objectives is to carry 10 kilograms, driving at 50 kilometers an hour with this X number of hours of flying hours. Imagine if you don't have that. So how would you do it? It's a bunch of team. They're sitting together, coming up with the idea, and then it's just tinkering it for like weeks and weeks and weeks to build the model and testing and testing and testing it, right? And since an AI can simulate the real world gravity, temperature, air dynamics, and all of that in a simulation closer to like a real world, it can actually do that for millions of times.
Yeah.
And it can give you a design, most likely can achieve some objectives, possibly far more efficient than the most talented team in the world, right? So imagine the time that you spend, like weeks, can be condensed into a couple of days or even hours.
Yeah, yeah. Now the best part, it can be, because that was a few years back.
Yes.
And now with your infra, it can be not only Adobe that does this, right? There can be smart folks that figure this out, right? Train the model, push it to your marketplace.
Yeah.
People use it. Someone comes up with a better model, they push it to the market, and then to your marketplace, and then I think that would drive better products, better businesses, better
Accelerated innovation,
Yeah.
if you want to call it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was staying away from that word, but you nailed it. Yeah. Exciting times. I'm really fascinated by the role that OpenxAI can play in this open economy and open source mentality, and as you call it, permissionless AI.
Yes.
This has been great. Thank you, Ashton.
Pleasure.
I learned a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.